What is up, my friends? So, Halloween 2018. The movie I thought was pretty good, but for the most part, there were many parts in this movie that felt too comedic and honestly took me out of the film a lot. Now, I had a feeling this was going to happen, especially when it's a movie that's directed by Danny. Well, it's not directed by Danny McBride. I mean, he wrote the movie and everything, and he worked as an executive producer, so you could say he had a lot of input as to what he wanted to see come out of this film. I see a lot of Danny McBride in this film. That's not so much of a bad thing, it's just that I was expecting something totally different from this movie, and to be honest, I was a little disappointed with it. I was wanting something along the lines of maybe Rob Zombie's mixed with the original. And we got something completely different, which is cool, but not what I wanted. Don't get me wrong, there's some awesome shots and scenes in this film, especially when you have the podcaster part in the beginning. I thought that was a really interesting and cool way to start that film and really had that energy you wanted it to have. But all of that energy gets lost throughout the film and it's found in different spots. But anyways, let's talk about that big twist and what the doctor really wanted. So, as we know, Michael was being transported to a very secure prison where he was just going to spend the rest of his time now. And we already get the vibe that this doctor's a little off the way he describes Michael, and almost like he had an obsession with him and was really wanting this case just because of that, and more along the lines of not really caring about exactly the psyche of Michael, but more caring about his crimes and wanting to know more about that. Sort of like how people get infatuated with serial killers and marry them and whatever. This is exactly what happened, except this doctor just wanted to see Michael kill. So the big twist came when the bus crashed and everything, and then we weren't sure what happened, but as time progressed, we started to be like, nah, this doctor ain't so subtle. We know he actually was the one that helped Michael break out and loose. And all in an effort for having Michael speak to him, because Michael has never spoken to anyone. And that's something that I've never really thought about until this movie pointed out. And I thought that that is interesting to know what exactly Michael would ever say if he ever did speak. So that's why I think it became such a huge deal for this doctor. And I think he really believed that I get him to Laurie Strode and I'll hear him talk, probably because that's sort of like his passion and whatnot, is killing Laurie Strode. And ultimately, of course, the doctor didn't ever hear Michael talk, as Michael just crushed his head in one of the most hilarious and really weird scenes I've ever seen. Because this movie, it looks like it's on a budget, right? Not in a bad way. The budget looks like it's pretty high anyways. But once it got to that head crushing scene, I was like, is this like some trauma picture or whatever? But hey, that's just my thoughts on it. Anyways, as I said, the twist basically was the doctor was in on it all this time. He was the one who let him loose and wanted him to kill and get to Strode just to learn more about him and actually maybe even hear him speak his first word. So the doctor is pretty crazy as well. I think the doctor, however, does hit some keynotes I like to talk about as well, especially with Allison possibly having some killer tendencies as well, and just talking about how these traumas and these people can actually turn you into something you're not, such as Laurie actually becoming the predator at the end. And I feel like the movie showing us Allison with the knife and still holding it the way she did is just some setup for another movie or whatever. As I said in my ending explained, I do not believe Michael is dead whatsoever. I truly think we're getting a sequel. This movie made like $80 million over the weekend, and it has broken many, many records. So if it doesn't get its sequel, I will be highly, highly what the fuck is going on? Anyways, post-credit scene, basically at the end of the credits after they're done rolling, we hear Michael's breathing. Now, we don't see it, we just hear it. And I mean, if that's not saying we're getting a sequel, then I don't know what is. Anyways, however, no scene. It's just that it's more along the lines of a post-credit audio, if you want to call it that. But anyways, what do you think about the twist? Did you like it? Did you not? Personally, it felt like I didn't give a fuck about this doctor, so him coming back was no big deal for me, and him being killed was no big deal either. And honestly, you could already tell like when this movie started, that this doctor was no good. So I just thought about that, and I'm excited to see if there's a sequel, whether Michael returns or we have Allison taking on the shape herself and becoming the killer. Very interested to see what's going to happen. But you let me know your thoughts below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. 6,000 subscribers. What the hell are you waiting for? Let's get to it. I'll see y'all next time. Stay positive, my friends.